This video is going to be about how to use seat numbers in PosiTouch. And the point of seat numbers is to identify which person gets what food. So we do not have what we call auctioning off the food, to take out a whole bunch of food to a table and basically say, okay, who had the cheeseburger, thank you, who had the steak, and then passing it out that way. This way, you've got a ticket that says everything that you need. You take it out to the table, and you know exactly who got what, and you don't have to ask. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is get the system configured so that it's already set up. And that you'll probably need to call the help desk for if it's not already set up for seat numbers. And the next thing you're going to need to do is determine for each table you have, and these are just some examples of tables, but tables can be, you know, very long. That you can, you'll have to figure out what to do in the case where you're going to take tables and put them together, and you'll have to identify what's always going to be seat number one. And you may want to do it based on what's closest to the kitchen or something like some type of a geographic identifier within your restaurant for cases where you do put tables together. So once you decide which is the seat number one, and then you figure out which direction you're going to go, clockwise, counterclockwise, and that's going to be the basis for what your seat numbers are. So ordering by seat number can be two different ways. It can be where it's an optional thing. So I'm going to show you the beverage screen. And the beverage screen, putting in a seat number is going to be optional. And then we're going to move on to the entrees where it's going to be required. So the first thing we're going to do is order our drinks. Now, if you want to be able to separate by seat number and make it very quick and easy to separate checks, you want to do the seat numbers based on your beverages as well. If you don't really particularly care about that, then you don't have to. And the beverage screen can also be set up so that it's required. And it's based on each item, so it can be any way that you'd like to have it. That's up to your manager. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to order a Coke for our beverage. So we push the Coke. If you want to use the seat number, all you have to do is touch one of the numbers on the left-hand side. That adds the seat number. Then we order a Diet Coke. That's seat number 2. And a ginger ale is seat number 3. In this particular example, we're going to use 3 guests. Then we're going to go to entrees. And you can do the same thing with appetizers. I skip past that. No matter what order you put it in, it's going to show up, and I'll show you a sample of the ticket. No matter what order you put it in, it's going to print the prep ticket in the seat number order. So let's say we get a pork chop. It's going to ask for a seat number. That's seat number 1. Let's do cauliflower steak, and for whatever reason, guest number 2 wasn't ready, so we'll put that under seat number 3. And then guest number 2 finally decided on the scallops. So there's our order. You see it's got all the seat numbers on it. And now I'll show you a quick sample of what the check looks like. So as you can see from the ticket that printed out in the kitchen, and this is the same ticket that's going to come out of the Expediter printer, it's no longer out of order as far as seat number. If you remember, we put in guest number 1, guest number 3, and then guest number 2. So it comes out in the order that the seat numbers are for distributing the food. So remember that one of the benefits of this is not auctioning off the food, but another benefit is that it makes it much easier to split the checks down the road. And that's assuming, of course, that everybody is getting a separate check. So if you have 3 couples and it's a party of 6, it's not going to be as helpful. But if you have 6 people that are individual, or in this case we have 3, and you want to separate the check, now all you have to do is go into separate check, and you separate by seat down in the bottom right hand corner, and bam, your checks are separated. You hit return and you send the order, and now you've got 3 separate checks, and it took seconds instead of the time to sit there and figure out who got what.